back to the show, everyone. On with me now is executive producer, author, host, radio host, and his most taxing job, being my boss. We have Andy Cohen with us. How you doing, Andy?
You know what I love about you, Darren?
Here we go.
You, like me, are a screamer. We both scream when we're on TV. You're making me calm down a little bit.
Good. See, that's my job, you know?
We're both hyperactive.
Yeah, I get it from you. I learn from the best. You know, it wakes people up in the morning.
You were hyperactive the day you walked into my office for that interview. So
was it off-putting when I walked in, or were you
No,
like,
I liked it. I responded to it. I hired you.
That's true. We saw each other, as you say.
Do people realize that you are actually my assistant, even though you host this show? Like, no joke, you guys. I emailed her today about like, I need you to go into the office to get this, and I need you to schedule this. Like, she literally hosts this show and is my assistant.
To be fair,
so
both
everyone
are
knows.
Very fun jobs, I have to admit. So no complaining on my end. I'm lucky to do both. It's been a long time coming for you to come on. I'm super excited for you to come on my show. You're seeing my apartment for the first time, and I'm utterly terrified. But this is a very big day.
You have a leather couch, Darren?
Yeah. You like it? What?
It's very mask.
What is that judgment for? What's wrong with a leather couch?
Very masculine.
Okay, well, I mean, my name's Darren. I'm gay. Like, come on, Andy. Like,
okay, I like
a little bit. But
okay.
I want to talk to you because it is your 5-year Radio Andy anniversary. Congratulations. How does it feel to be 5 years on a wildly successful radio channel?
I can't believe it. It's really, I can't believe it's been 5 years. It seems like yesterday since that launch party 5 years ago in September on top of the Dream Hotel that you were at, and John Mayer came and all these big stars came to. It was so fun. And we've had a lot of fun on Radio Andy in 5 years. I'm really excited. I think we've built it into a really fun brand at Sirius.
Now, the question for you, though, is are accomplishments like this kind of routine for you at this point, Andy? I mean, do you ever reflect on being that, you know, very young CBS intern wishing you would someday get here? I mean, are you ever in awe of your own achievements?
I mean, I am pleased with how things have gone. I don't want to say I'm in awe of myself, but I definitely pinch myself all the time. And on days that are super, super long or taxing or intense, I do try to tell myself, this was what you wanted, so you need to enjoy it. And I do think that I have a sense of place. I mean, I never planned to be in front of the camera, as you know, and here I am. And so this is all very exciting, and I'm grateful for every opportunity that I've been given.
Well, oddly enough, you know, you talk about how, you know, someone said that your boss actually, I think, told you had a wonky eye, that you would never make it on air with all that stuff. Yeah, I still don't see it. But with that, did you ever think that you were going to be on a radio show where the wonky eye won't matter at all? I mean, did you ever dream of that?
No, I did. I mean, yes, I did. I was, you know, I love radio. I'm a huge Howard Stern fan, and I love music. So I did dream about it, but I never knew that. I never thought it would happen, and here it is. Well, much less that they would give me my own channel and let me program around it and put Sandra Bernhard and Bevy Smith and Jim Parsons and Dan Rather and Amy Phillips and all these great people on the channel. It's been really cool.
I mean, as if you couldn't touch every area of life enough. You have an entire world on radio, but you mentioned Howard Stern, and I know in the past he hasn't come on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen because he says he's too big for the show. What about Radio Andy? Has he come on Radio Andy at all? Have you tried? Like, what's going on?
You know, we have tried. You know, he won't come down the hall. What can I tell you? But you know what? He's Howard. He's such a legend that I just, you know, I will accept whatever, you know, pebbles fall out of his pocket, you know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, one of the main things that I've really learned from you in the past 9.5 years, if you can believe it, is your willingness to put people that you believe in a position to win. You really want to see people grow and see people succeed. And I really admire that about you, especially with your roster at Radio Andy, you know, Bevy Smith, Jim Parsons, everyone you mentioned. Is that something that you consciously do, or it just happens to work out that way for you?
Well, I mean, listen, anyone else's success on Radio Andy, it means success for Radio Andy, which then touches me. And that's the same with, you know, any new housewife. I mean, we've had so many great housewives who have contributed to my success that I'm so grateful to them. Without them, I would not be successful. So I think it all is it's all a circle. It's all a circle. But it makes me, I mean, the thing that was so intriguing to me about Radio Andy when they offered it to me was that they were giving me the opportunity to put people on the radio that I believed in, that I thought was great, that represent different parts of my brain. I may not be able to put Dan Rather on Bravo, but how cool that I could put him on Radio Andy.
But in today's climate, I mean, you ever worried about, you know, politics getting maybe too close to something that you're not necessarily comfortable with? I mean, how much of what people say on your channel is really a representation of you?
Well, I mean, it's a representation of me in that I believe in them as voices. And no, I'm not, I think I want opinionated people on the channel.
You know, Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen and Radio Andy, while different, are so much a reflection of you and your incredible world that you've really established over the past, you know, few decades, really. How do you see them as different sides of you? Are you more relaxed on radio, would you say?
Yeah, I definitely am. I mean, I've gotten in trouble for eating on the radio a few times. Like, I'm so relaxed. I'm like, "Ah, bah, bah, bah." And then people are like, John Hill, my co-host, will be like, "Are you eating right now?" So I may be too relaxed on the radio. I'm working on, you know, sitting up straight and actually reminding myself that I am broadcasting a lot of the time, which is especially challenging when we're all doing our shows from home.
Well, I know that Evelyn, your mom, likes to report back every Watch What Happens Live and give you sort of an outfit, you know, commentary, what you said, what you didn't say. Is she doing the same thing for Radio Andy? Is she the one complaining that you're eating on air?
No, she'll sometimes. I mean, they hate it when I talk about sex. Sometimes she will text me. She did tell me in August that my show has been really boring and that I seem like I'm coasting. And the truth of the matter is, I said, you know what, Mom? You know, my show, I was like, you know, we need a little spruce up. And actually, I spent a lot of time during the vacation with John Hill brainstorming new ideas for Andy Cohen Live. So actually, she did inspire. It was kind of the push that I needed. I was like, you know what? It's been 5 years. I feel like we need to come up with let's judge it up. So we did. And it made me more excited about coming back this fall than ever for our 5th year.
Good. I mean, Evelyn finally deserves that EP credit we've all been waiting for her to get. Yeah. She's been waiting for it too. Well, you know, over the last 5 years, you've had countless viral moments, not only on your show, but specifically on Radio Andy. A specific reality one that struck me was on Jeff Lewis Live with Jeff Lewis from Flipping Out fame. And you know, he likes to break the fourth wall a lot. He calls out Bravo, he calls out producers, sometimes he calls out you. And working at the network while having your own radio channel, I mean, how and where do you draw the line on what can and can't be said from a radio standpoint versus a Bravo standpoint?
Well, I think I'm pretty uncensored no matter where I am. I think that I am more uncensored on the radio, and it gets a little, every so often I get scared when I get off the air because I'm like, oh my God, what did I say? When you're on the air for 2 hours straight, things can fall out of your mouth. And so, you know, I get a little, the truth is I feel like I am an oversharer. People expect me to overshare, so I'm happy to do it. But yes, Jeff has definitely pissed me off a few times. We've gotten into it.
That I know. I've heard those heated debates. I mean, listen, you have so many platforms. You're obviously very active on Instagram. You have your own show, your own radio. You've written books. But in this day and age, especially in 2020, everyone seems to be ready to cancel anyone at any given moment. I mean, how hard is it to be a public figure, especially an outspoken one, and maybe get political or even form an opinion, even just about reality TV shows? It feels like everyone's just ready to be offended right now.
Yeah, I mean, they are, and I think you have to be careful. And I mean, it's and the line certainly keeps moving. And when your brand is to be unfiltered and uncensored, and that's what Radio Andy is, I mean, then we want to lean into that. But look, I think that everybody who's on Radio Andy, Bevy is one of the great kind of pop culture commentators, Bevy Smith. And I think people, listen, these are all really good people on Radio Andy. So I'm not too worried about any of us ultimately getting canceled, because I think we all stand for, what's right and good. And so we will plod along and continue to be as uncensored as we can.
Listen, I know there's many moments that happen in your life, and certainly 5 years of moments is probably hard to grasp, but is there any moment off the top of your head on Radio Andy that has just caught you by surprise, maybe during Andy Cohen Live? Any fans calling in saying something wild to you?
Yeah, there was a caller from Dallas who called in once, he called in to tell us some story of what had happened to him over the weekend. And then I was like, who are you? And what are you? And what's your Instagram? And it turned out I was going to Dallas the following week. And it turned out this guy was like this very handsome Army vet, and he was amazing. And I wound up meeting up with him in Dallas, and it caused like weeks worth of entertainment on Radio Andy. And it annoyed John Hill, my co-host, to no end that some random hot guy called in, and then I got to meet him. It pissed him off, which I really enjoy pissing John off. John is my co-host, and he's also my ex-boyfriend, which leads to very interesting, an interesting dynamic. I think also one day Mariah Carey was at Sirius, and we were begging her people to bring her down the hall to have her pop in spontaneously on the air, and Dan Bernhard was there, and she was not pleased. I didn't realize that she kind of had a beef with Sandra, and we wound up squashing the beef on the air. We got her to come down the hall, but it was very exciting. We were all wrapped with excitement, wanting to know if she was going to come and surprise us, and she did. And we've had a few of those surprises. We've gotten Lady Gaga in there spontaneously, and we've had some really fun. The best moments are the ones that are unplanned and spontaneous.
I mean, listen, Sandra Bernhard's no pushover. She's a member of my tribe, but
yes,
going against Mariah Carey would make me pee my pants a little bit. Was she nervous at all to squash the beef on air?
No, she didn't. I don't think we realized, because Mariah walked in and was like, ooh, Sandra, you don't like me, you this. And Sandra was like, no, honey, I love, we worked it out.
Woo! And just to be clear, now John Hill wasn't necessarily jealous of this Dallas guy, but just jealous that you can.
I don't think so, but the listeners thought that maybe he was.
It's fair. That's a fair point. Well, listen, Radio Andy Theater is one of my favorite things that I've seen over the years from you. It is wildly hilarious. Now that we have some new blood in the mix, though, I want to know which celebrity you would think should play Garcelle.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe Issa Rae.
Ooh, what about Dr. Wendy Osefo? Who would play Dr.?
Well, we've never had a housewife play another housewife, but that would be an interesting. Now you just came up with something there to do an all housewives housewife playhouse, housewives from other cities.
Exactly. You play on the stereotypes of them from other cities.
That's a really interesting idea.
Trademark it.
We're going to do it.
What celebrity, though, I have to ask, given the season of Beverly Hills, would play Aaron, Denise Richards' husband, to you?
Someone super hot. I mean, I don't, Jerry O'Connell's so funny and great, but I mean, just some super hot brick of a man.
Ooh, maybe like a John Cena type,
Yes.
He would be good at it.
That's a good idea.
Well, Andy, the Mormons, Church of Latter-day Saints are coming. Unclear what we can actually say, because the trailer for The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was recently released. You posted it. What can you tell us? Who do we think will be the villain right off the bat? And is this going to be the next hot franchise for Bravo?
It is going to be the next top franchise. I think people are going to be really surprised by a few of the women. And I just think it's so interesting. I've always been fascinated by, first of all, I love a ski community. And, I've always been interested in the Mormon church and wanted a way in. We developed a show at Bravo years ago that we were going to do that was not a Housewives, that was set with a lot of Mormons, and it wound up falling through. And so I'm really glad we've got some active Mormons, we've got some lapsed Mormons, but Mormonism is definitely a character and a through line in the show. And I think it's really interesting. Everyone has a different, relationship to the religion that's on the show. And I'm glad that, it's a diverse show. I think people are going to be really interested in Mary Crosby and in Heather. They're all really interesting, the women.
And anyone in the current community of Mormonism cannot drink, right? So they're completely sober for the season?
They're drinking, Darren.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that they're drinking. They are in Bravo after all. Well,
yes.
Before I let you go for this segment, I have to ask, other than his normal cartoon watching, does Little Benjamin have a favorite Bravo series yet?
No, he was in and out. I was screening an episode of Orange County Housewives the other day, and he was kind of in and out, and I was on my computer, and he was like, I need to post that. But I took a picture of him kind of looking like that. So I think I'm often screening episodes of Housewives on my computer, and I think he's like, who are these chicks?
Well,
he's met a few Housewives, though. He's met Vicky.
He's met Kyle, I thought he met Teresa.
Teresa. He played with Teresa's hair before Teresa and I did our one-on-one with Joe after Joe got out of jail.
He met Bethany.
I think he's met Randy from Dallas. He's met Bethany. He's met Luann. He met Luann recently. He met, what other Housewives has he met? I can't remember. He's met Whoopi Goldberg.
I mean, he's like every single person that came through Watch What Happens Live, I feel like held him. You can't bathe him.
Met a lot of people. He's met Rosie O'Donnell. I brought him in to meet Rosie. She really wanted to meet him.
I mean, that's just, was there any person that he gravitated to like very naturally? And he was like, yeah, all right, this is my new co-parent right here. I'm cool with it.
I think he dug Whoopi Goldberg.
Nah, we all dig Whoopi Goldberg. We all dig her. Question though, if you had to leave Ben for a week and leave him with one housewife to take care of him, no contact on the phone, who would you trust for 1 week to take care of Benny?
Wow. I mean, the truth is, I would really trust him with most of them, because don't you think their job would be kind of on the line if anything happened?
I literally would be the worst mother in the normal world, but in your world, I would be mom like A++, because I knew my job was on the line, so I would make sure to impress you fully. So yeah, I would be on their best.
I would too, but let's say Nene, and I'd like to shoot it. If I could shoot it, then I would be into it.
Well, Andy, thank you so much for coming on and answering my very tough questions. You were literally the best in the business, and I really appreciate your time. I just got the Postmates alert. Your lunch will be here in 10 minutes. People, you can listen to Andy's full slate of programming on Sirius XM channel 102. That's Radio Andy 102. If you don't have Sirius, sign up immediately. I hear they're offering a free Echo Dot with your subscription, so you're getting a lot there.
Darren, how do I take my coffee, Darren?
You don't drink coffee because it gives you a headache. You don't like it. You like tea with a splash of milk. 2 tea bags. Yes. Not bad, not bad.